Good evening, welcome to the Nakuru TV News Roundup on Monday the 16th of April 2018. This is Alisa Shinmurithi. 10 vehicles were swept by raging floods at Suswa area along the Narok Maimahio Road yesterday night following a heavy downpour that hit the area, with over 50 people narrowly escaping death. The incident that happened a few minutes before 7 p.m. saw motorists trapped in a traffic jam for over 3 hours. According to witnesses, the floods caught the vehicles in the middle of the tarmac, making it difficult to move either forward or backwards. Luckily, there were no casualties, as members of the public who were nearby rescued all those who had been swept away by the floods. Three commissioners at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission have resigned. Vice Chairperson Consolatan Katha, Commissioners Paul Kurgat and Margaret Mwachanya announced their exit from the commission, stating lack of unity. In a joint statement, the three commissioners expressed concern over external meddling in the commission's affairs, saying Chairperson Wafula Chebukati had failed to provide leadership. The resignation of the three leaves the IEBC technically dysfunctional, with only Chebukati and Commissioners Boya Molu and Abdi Gulie remaining put. Internal wrangles at the Anniversary Towers based commission became apparent on Monday last week, when it emerged Chebukati, Molu and Gulie had voted to send IEBC Chief Executive Officer Ezra Chiloba on a 3-month compulsory leave. The announcement by Nkatha, Kurgat and Mwachana on Monday came ahead of an anticipated plenary meeting that was to be chaired by Chebukati, who returned to the country from an election conference in Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we were sworn in as commissioners of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, we took oath to serve this country and the commission in line with the Constitution and the law of the land. The process of taking such measures are contained in the Commission's Human Resource Manual and laws that govern its conduct. The removal of a Commission CL Secretary is a weighty matter and is one that should not have been introduced as a by the way. At the same time, the Commission had a fixed date for its meeting, and the meeting of April 6th should have taken place on April 12th, when all 6 commissioners were in the country. Therefore, the events related to the purported vote have greatly shaken our already feeble confidence in the chair. Given this severe deterioration of confidence in the commission chair, we find our position as commissioners under his leadership no longer tenable. Consequently, we regret to announce our resignation from the Commission with immediate effect. We thank the people of Kenya for according us this noble opportunity to serve as commissioners of the IEBC.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has led Kenyans in mourning second liberation hero Kenneth Matiba, who has been described as the father of democracy. Messages of condolences have been sent by various Kenyans and leaders, all hailing Matiba following his death on yesterday evening at a city hospital where he was undergoing treatment. President Kenyatta says Matiba, who died at the age of 85, was at the forefront of shaping the political landscape of the country. Deputy President William Ruto, on his part, said Matiba was an indefatigable proponent in democracy, human rights, a champion of the less privileged, and a people's person. Opposition leader Raila Odinga said the country has lost one of the last living symbols of the pains Kenyans have had to bear in order to get where they are. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi described the political icon as a brave and selfless leader.
Today, with a very heavy heart and a deep sense of national loss, that my wife Margaret and I send Mrs. Edith Matiba and her family this message of condolence and encouragement following the death of Mzee Kenneth Matiba. Mzee Matiba was a true patriot who loved this nation. He was a nationalist who believed in hard work and building strong bonds of friendship for the betterment of all Kenyans. Indeed, Mzee Matiba was among the first sons of Kenya who formed that team that began to lay the foundation of our great nation. He initially played a key role as a teacher in Kangaru High School in 1960. Then in 1961 through to 1962 as an officer of higher education in the Ministry of Education. Later, as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperatives. He also served this country as Minister of Transport and Communications, Minister for Health, and Minister for Culture and Social Services. And without doubt, and it is known, he was also among the pioneering Kenya entrepreneurs with diverse interests, being involved in a number of companies such as the East African Breweries Limited and in the hotel and tourism industry. On the political front, he was at the forefront of shaping the political landscape of this country as we know it today. His call for multi-party democracy and his rallying cry of forward ever, backward never, helped transform our country to what it is today. With the passing of Mzee Matiba, the cruel hand of death has robbed us of a devoted leader, a mentor, who was a role model to many, including myself. Indeed, it goes without saying that he served his country and people with distinction. His accomplishments clearly demonstrate that focus, diligence, and determination pays. Those who knew him well benefited immensely from his selfless leadership and wisdom. As today we mourn the death of Mzee Matiba, to the family, we say, be encouraged that our prayers and those of all Kenyans will give you the strength and fortitude to move on. I conclude by saying that all of us who knew him are privileged that he lived amongst us, and we thank God for the time that we were able to share with him. May the Almighty God rest the soul of this great man, Mzee Matiba, in everlasting peace. God bless you.
NEMA has written to City Hall requesting 100 personnel to be trained as environment inspectors. They will play a key role in exercising for a clean Nairobi. Director General Geoffrey Wahugu noted in his letter to County Secretary Peter Kariuki on the 13th of April. The National Environment Management Authority said the names should be submitted in 7 days. The officers will be trained, their names gazetted, and their work supervised by NEMA Environmental Director. Three Court of Appeal judges have upheld a decision by the High Court dismissing an election petition against Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko. In a ruling rendered today, Justices Kathurima Minoti, Roslyn Nambuye, and Gatembu Kiairo said Justice Msanga Mbokoli was right in striking out the petition by voters Japheth Morocco and Noah Akala. According to the bench, Justice Mbogoli exercised his discretion judicially by striking the case out and not allowing withdrawal of the petition. Morocco and Akala wanted the petition reinstated on the basis that the election court erred in throwing it out. The petitioners had argued that Justice Mbogoli ought to have allowed the withdrawal so that anyone willing to take it up can do so. The voters had asked the court to allow them withdraw the petition over claims of intimidation and receiving death threats. The court has ordered them to pay 2 million shillings as cost of their appeal. President Kenyatta today morning left the country to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in the United Kingdom. President Kenyatta will also hold other forums with leaders and investors intended to strengthen diplomatic relationships and boost trade and investment ties with the Commonwealth nations. Among the first such meetings will be between President Kenyatta and Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and Prime Minister Theresa May. The meeting involves leaders from 53 countries that make up the Commonwealth nations. This year's summit is focused on promoting prosperity, safety, sustainability, and fairness with a theme towards a common future. Thank you for staying with Nakuru TV News Roundup. This is Alice Ashin and have a good night.
Audio Jungle.
My name is James Wakibia, and I'm coming appealing to you to support kids in Salai who need shoes. Your support is highly welcome. They need shoes, and once you do that, God will bless you. Once you are in Nakuru town, you can drop them at Nakuru TV, which is located at Highway Towers 7th floor.